Okay, guys, let's go. I have a solo episode for you today. So many updates, a lot of changes. I feel like I'm entering a new phase of my life and everything's coming at once, which can be a little overwhelming. And I've definitely had some moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? What's happening? But I'm getting through and it's definitely a change and up level. And I'm excited to finally tell you guys about these things and bring you along for the journey. So we're going to be covering things with business, my personal life, getting a house, a dog, so much. So strap yourselves in. There's going to be some information coming your way, which I've early on couldn't really share, but now I'm able to, and everything is happening over the next few weeks. So first thing is business wise, just want to let you know in advance about the mineral balancing course, which is launching on Monday, the 17th of July. So I just want to give you a heads up now in case you're interested. This is going to be the third round technically. First time I ran it as a group program, but then switched it to be a self-paced course. Launched the first round earlier on this year. So now this is the third time I'm opening the doors. So it's going to be open from Monday, the 17th of July for 1 week. So it'll finish at the end of day on Sunday, the 23rd. The price and everything will be linked in the episode show notes, but just as a heads up now, it's going to be £347. And for that, you get a mineral test included, which is a little bit crazy that I'm doing that, but I just want to give you a low cost option to get tested, help yourself figure out what's going on, and just give you some answers really, because minerals are interconnected with everything and it's a real foundation of health. So I want to make sure that everyone has access to this at as low price as I can afford to do. And then if they do need extra things after that, some people are absolutely great. It's resolving the fatigue, the brain fog, the skin issues, the periods and hormones. I understand people need a little bit more than that. And I do HTMA testing and everything in one-to-one if you need that extra support. But yeah, for £347, you can see what's going on in your body with your mineral levels. Do you have mineral imbalances? Do you have mineral deficiencies? Do you have heavy metal toxicity? And then you can understand what's going on with your current results. And you're also going to have a tool lifelong then to return back to. Mineral testing is great to do once or twice a year, ongoing, because we run into mineral imbalances all the time because of things like soil depletion, stress, toxins in the environment. So we want to make sure that we're at least balanced in our minerals before we start looking at deeper things like gut protocols and crazy detoxes. So you'll have the tool then to support you in your long-term healing journey. The kind of terms and conditions is that the mineral test has to be used within 6 months of purchasing the program. So if you've just done one recently with someone else, you've ordered one yourself, or even if you're a client of mine and you've had a mineral test recently in the past few months, you have 6 months to actually use the test. So that could be great as like a before and after look as to how well things have gone for yourself. And I do recommend this to clients who have gone through my initial package, because I don't want to be working with you necessarily for years on end. I want you to have tools and resources to be able to be your own practitioner at some point, and I'll be here if you need me, but it's a good option to have so that you can check in with yourself, be able to guide yourself through the Kajabi portal where it goes through each mineral imbalance, what it means, how to read your report, what the different ratios mean on the second page, what to do if you do have high heavy metals come back, because there's a procedure and process. You don't just go straight to intense detoxing things. And there's also a lot of questions that are going to be answered within the course. So last round, I gave the students an option to ask frequently asked questions, or the personal questions. So this time around, we're not doing that because, yeah, it's just going to take too much time for me to keep doing that every round. But what I'm going to do is have those frequently asked question videos in Kajabi still, so you can watch back the last set of questions, and pretty much everything is explained within the course content anyway that you'd need to know, but some people just wanted a little bit of clarification. So yeah, you'll get to access kind of the recordings from the last round in case you had any other specific questions. And I will be sending this information as a reminder via email or my newsletter. If you're not already signed up to that, definitely do. And there is a specific waitlist for this course on the webpage, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk. And the next few episodes, I'm going to be mentioning this course too, just to keep you reminded, but put it in your diary if you're interested. And if you miss the cutoff for enrollment, it's only going to be open that week. So you'll have to wait until later in the year to jump on the offer. If not, so yeah, make a move. And then speaking of business, I have been teasing a little bit on social media, Instagram, about this extra certification and training that I'm doing in the background. And every Tuesday now for the past few weeks, I've been in school. So I've been from 6 till 9 p.m. every Tuesday in a group on Zoom, learning like a student, which I love. I'm just a lifelong student. But this is running from May to September 2023. That's when I'll be fully qualified in tools like life coaching, becoming an emotional freedom technique practitioner. I'll be trained in neural rewiring and recoding, hypnosis, basically all of the tools that I've been looking to use with clients for an even deeper transformation. So I do manage to get really good results with my clients, but with this on top, I am so excited for the speed, hopefully, at which things will shift, because it is true that it takes a few weeks commonly for habits to change, but you can also change in an instant. If I can help you shift a limiting belief or an energy blockage of some sort, you can actually become a different person and have a different identity and mindset and outlook within half an hour, within a few minutes in some cases. So I'm only a few weeks in at the moment and I am loving it so far. And I realized that I needed to do something like this a few months ago, but I was looking for the perfect tool, the perfect resource to help me do so. And I was considering other things. I was looking at like somatic work, but this course, it's called Yes Supply, and the owner and creator is called Reese Evans. I realized I'm just drawn to this one for some reason. And like I do with a lot of other things, if I hear something over and over again in a short period of time, which I did, I was hearing people talk about it on podcasts, I was seeing it on social media, I just know intuitively that I was drawn to this for a reason, and it's perfect with everything that I wanted to learn. So this is going to help me support clients further who have things like trauma, which is most people, limiting beliefs, energy blocks that don't allow them to fully heal or access that new level of health, go that extra level and layer up. Because I was just really realizing, especially as I started to attract more of a complex case, because I was that person as well who didn't just have the simple hormone imbalance. I had the toxicities, I had the heavy metals, I had the Lyme co-infections, all of that. My brain had completely shifted with all of the stress and sensitivities that I developed, and it was quite difficult for me to uncover that just with diet and supplements. I had to look deeper at what I was telling myself, the language that I was using, and I had to train my brain in a way to be open to new techniques and foods and supplements. Otherwise, people can get stuck. So I was with clients telling them, and I knew the importance of addressing trauma and having this mindset shift, but I wasn't qualified enough to help them myself. And I was referring them to other people, or read this book, listen to this podcast, but I just wanted to help them myself a bit more, because I didn't want them to come to me for help and then I'd be like, okay, go to this person. Even though it has been useful, I just wanted to be a bit more all-rounded with my support physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So that's allowing me to do that. And I'm going to incorporate, and I already am, aspects of this into my one-to-one work over the next few months as I learn. But then I'm so excited to release a group program later in the year. I'm aiming for autumn time, so ideally September, if all goes to plan. That's going to be a women's health 6-week group program that's going to help you address the physical and energetic, emotional, mindset connections to your hormone symptoms, whether that is anxiety, period problems, PMS, skin issues, weight issues, general hormone imbalances, thyroid issues. This is going to be everything that you need to have a new identity, really address what's going on with you, what's holding you back, because most people that I work with are already doing a lot of basic things. They're eating healthy, they're exercising, they're taking some supplements. So it's necessary to do something a little bit deeper than just eat more fiber, eat more protein. That's not going to be that helpful for the people that I'm working with. So yeah, the 6-week group program, you're obviously not going to have all of your symptoms clear up in that time necessarily, But with what I'm going to teach you, you'll get access to that information even after the 6 weeks. But on those live calls that we have week to week, we're going to be going through some of these healing modalities, whether it is going to be an EFT session or a group hypnosis. I've not fully decided just yet because I'm still learning the techniques. And it might be that we jump on a call and I just intuitively feel what the group needs that day. So there'll be exercises and homework, if you want to call it that, between the live calls. So I'm looking for people who, and it's going to be a limited number of women in this group. I'm looking for women who are committed, who are going to show up on those live calls. All of this information I'm going to release a little bit closer to the time, but it's going to be once a week. Call's going to be probably an hour and a half, hour to an hour and a half. And yeah, be able to make those shifts between the calls. I don't expect it to be perfect, and I'm going to cater it to people who I know are busy and have got other things going on. I don't need to completely overhaul your life, but as long as you're wanting to show up, you're wanting to really make a change on many different levels, then stay tuned for the group program. And again, limited spots, and there's probably going to be some sort of application process nearer to the time. I'll be sharing on Instagram, my newsletter. So again, get on my email list if you are called to this. And yeah, I'm super excited for that one. And it will be a lower cost investment than my one-to-one, definitely. And there probably will be a one-to-one aspect within that, whether it's like a 30-minute call with me, or if you have personal questions, you'll get your chance to ask me, because I know how important that is in a program, to just not have a generic, like, do this, everyone needs to do this. I want to give you that based on feedback, like more specific advice. So that will be an aspect, but yeah, more details to come. I'm just kind of thinking out loud right now. So that's business done. In terms of life, there's also a lot going on. I have shared on Instagram that I actually bought a house recently. This has been something that I have been planning and thinking of and manifesting even for quite a while. And there are some crazy manifestations that have happened within this process specifically. I can't share all of it because it obviously goes into personal finances and all of that. So let's just say at some point I needed quite a bit more money than I had at the time because of these regulations or just bills all coming at once, along with tax year end and VAT payments and all of that. But everything worked out perfectly, even better than what I planned for, which is great. And it's going to be my house. So people have asked if I'm buying it with my partner, which I'm not. We do live together. We've lived together. We moved in after like 6 months. He moved in with me. But like I said, I'd already had this planned for way longer than before we even met. And he's not in a position to buy at the moment. I did want it to be my house for now. Potentially he might join the mortgage, who knows? But there were issues getting the mortgage to begin with because of my business structure. They're just being really strict at the moment. In general, interest rates are quite high. And I was told one figure. I'm not getting into everything because it's like not that important, but basically I was told one kind of offer, and then the terms and conditions changed that week, so that lender was no longer lending for the specific like category of people. And I went to other mortgage advisors asking for similar offers. Not everyone was saying no, it's just not going to happen. With they needed like business information and data from the past couple of years, but the tax year hadn't ended, so it was just a bit crazy during that time. Can't remember what month that was, maybe like March time. And at that point, I'd already put a reservation fee, £500 down on a house, a new build house. So if that didn't work out, I would lose that money and I wouldn't get the house. It was like pretty much the last house left on the development. And I'd seen that development for a year or two prior, because it's right near where I live already. I grew up in that area. I know someone who's already living there. And it was, I think, the last or the second to last house left. And I was already looking for houses more close to Manchester. So I'm like 30 minutes outside of Manchester now. So I was looking at houses like kind of halfway, which is further from my family, which I thought I wanted at the time, just to be a little bit closer to Manchester and near to the city and more things to do, but I honestly like don't go into the city that much anyway. But now I realize I wouldn't have actually liked to live there. And I would write things in my journal. I've looked back at old journal entries from the past year. I was really set on this one particular site, and I wanted a new build, specifically to try and reduce the risk of mold exposure. If you know my journey, you would understand like why it's important for me to not live in a moldy house, which I know a new build doesn't necessarily avoid mold completely. Like, things can happen, but I just wanted to try and control the environment as much as possible and not live somewhere that's many decades old if I could help it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to afford a new build at this stage and have one available to me. So I was looking at a development site a bit further away, but then all of the houses had gone for this year. And they were saying that they're building more, but it's going to be next year. And I was like, oh, it's not ideal, because I knew that I wanted to move when I was about 30, but then my flat gets really hot and humid in summer. And I just all of a sudden thought, like, I want to move now. I want to move as quickly as possible. So when they said that, that was in my original timeline to be another year or so. But I was like, no, I want somewhere now, if I can. So I was interested in that, and I would manifest. I'd kind of just assume that I'd have to wait until next year to move. I would drive to the local Starbucks that was nearby and have my coffee there, and imagine that I was working from the coffee shop outside of my home, and I would have a walk around the area on an afternoon and drive there and just drive that way home sometimes, just to go past it, like really manifesting what it would be like to live there. And then, funny enough, like, I didn't end up moving there, but everything that I wrote down in my description. So originally I was like, I want a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, because that's what I was looking at in that area. Turns out that I actually got for cheaper, because I was further away from Manchester, a 4-bed detached house, which definitely like wasn't on my plan, but yeah, managed to manifest not just that, but even better. And I realized I actually wanted to stay in the town that I'm in now because it's nearer to my family, and I spend a lot of time with my family. My sister-in-law's actually having a baby at the end of July, so I wanted to be a hands-on auntie, be close to them. It's the first baby in our family for such a long time, and we've got a tight-knit family, so I didn't really want to be living 15 minutes away. I just wanted to be around the corner because we all live in like a little area 5 minutes from each other. So yeah, sometimes you think you want something, but then it turns out you actually find something better. And I remember just like looking online again at houses one day and seeing this house in the kind of community that I'd seen before. I knew it was being built because I knew someone that was living there. And I just looked on the website and I saw this house, and immediately I was very drawn to it. It was in my price range. It was actually cheaper than the other ones I was planning on like looking at the next year. And I immediately like booked a viewing, but they didn't have a show house there. And I'd actually been to look at another show house of that house previously, and I didn't like it for some reason. But then when I went, I had to travel to Preston, which is about an hour away, to actually see a show house of that design. And I loved it. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. Like, great size. And from then on, everything just went really smoothly up until the whole mortgage situation. But yeah, reserved it. There were people also interested. I thought they were initially trying to push me into a sale, like, well, other people are interested, you better like put your name down. But it was true, because that afternoon, I kind of, after I'd been to the show house in Preston, he was like, let me know as soon as possible. So I thought, right, I'll just ring him on the way home. And he was like, can you come into the office now and pay the reservation fee? And as I got there, someone else was coming through the door to pay the reservation fee, but I just got there like 10 minutes before them. Otherwise, it would have been sold. So little things like that made me think, yeah, it's meant to be. If it's this smooth, and it wasn't easy, and it's a lot of paperwork and all of that, but if it's this flowy and it feels right, then I just need to follow my gut. And then things did get a little bit testing with the whole mortgage thing a few weeks later, but that all eventually worked out. We get sent these tests sometimes from the universe to see how much we really want something. Are we going to stay strong, or are you going to crumble and pull out? But if you've initially got that feeling, you don't want to be stupid and pay for something that you actually can't afford. But if it's a bit of a stretch, sometimes it's worth it. I definitely feel like this has been a big up level. There has been some tears, but I knew deep down all along that it would work out in some way. And I am very much affected by my environment, both in terms of like it needs to be a non-toxic environment, but it also needs to be somewhere that's light and just feels good. I don't want to be cramped. I don't want to be like tripping over stuff. I need a garden at this point. I've lived in a flat for the past 3 years, which has absolutely served me. I love this place, and it's allowed me to heal. This is where I moved after the mold exposure, and it's a like amazing flat, like lovely high ceilings, but it's just the heat. It gets very hot in summer, and I just would like a garden now. And it's worked out that it's been 3 years, pretty much to the month that I moved in here. So it'll be a little bit earlier than I originally planned of moving out, but it seems perfect timing now that I look at it. And in the whole process, I've manifested like a free washing machine, a free dishwasher, even though I know the other couple who bought on the same site, they asked for, because something happened with the reservation fee, I can't remember the details, but they asked for kind of compensation in the place of a washing machine or a dishwasher or anything, and they were told absolutely no way, like we cannot give you anything extra. And I was going through the documents and everything when I was doing the reservation fee, and he was like, the sales guy was really lovely. He's like, do you want me to see if I can get a washing machine or dishwasher added in? He was like, which one would you like? And my dad was with me at the time, and he was like, can we have both? And he was like, okay then, but I'll ask. And then they ended up saying yeah. Don't know if it was because mine was one of the last ones that they were selling. They might have a bit extra budget to play with, but I was buzzing with that. Saved me a few thousand most likely. And during the testing period of the mortgage, I actually joined this manifestation challenge online, and it got me, it sucked me in because it was $11.11, and my angel number is 1111. I see that everywhere. It's been my guide since like school years, and I was working specifically in that challenge. It said get a specific situation that you want to work on. So I was thinking about the house and the mortgage, and everything worked out better than I imagined. So this whole year, or past 6 months definitely, I've really gotten into manifestation, law of attraction, focusing on what can go right, not all of the negative things that can happen. And today is when the house inspection is. Today is the 8th of June. So if all goes well today with the house, it's getting kind of looked at, and then it gets its completion certificate. I should get the keys 3 weeks later, which takes us up to the 30th of June, and move shortly after. So maybe by the time you're listening to this, I'm in, but I'm going to be sharing a little bit on Instagram. I already have a lot of my furniture from the flat, so I'm not buying too much, but because there's a few more rooms than I have currently, I'll have to eventually get some more furniture. But right now, my priority is getting that garden sorted, because they just leave you with just a big pile of rubble pretty much. So I am prioritizing that as soon as possible. We're all getting our hands dirty and stuck in, and that's how I can spend my summer outside as much as I can. That's the goal. And I don't feel like it's fully sunk in yet. I'm very proud of myself, and I know that it's a big achievement, and I've worked hard the past few years. I've not burnt myself out, because my health is number one. So I have worked hard, and people can see that I'm very committed, and I obviously love what I do. And I had such a crap time, honestly, when my health was bad. I just couldn't enjoy my life, and I had chronic illness. So it feels so nice to be able to enjoy life and feel like I'm achieving goals, and everything's like happier and everything's paying off now, because for such a long time it felt like I was very behind in life in general, in terms of relationships and travel, going to uni, or climbing the corporate ladder. I just was looking at people from school and outside, people my age, and just thinking, I'm so behind. Like, I'm just at home with my parents every weekend, and I can't even eat out really, because I'd get so bloated and so reactive. But in many ways now I feel like I've catapulted forward in some aspects, and I'm actually ahead of a lot of people I was like previously comparing myself to. Not that like I'm better than them or anything like that. Please don't take this as bragging. What I'm trying to do is show you that you can kind of, in the whole spiritual world, it's called like a quantum leap, but I've just worked hard and I've been more determined and driven and clear. And I know myself a lot better than some people do because I've had to go through a difficult time. And that's why I always tell people in the moment it's the worst thing ever and you just want to be healed, but you'll come out the other side so much of a better, well-rounded person. You'll be more empathetic, you'll have more life wisdom. And I just want to use this as hopefully inspirational content for those of you who might be in that position right now, feeling like life's passing you by, time's passing you by. Just know that you can, quote, catch up and do even better and exceed your expectations. Not that we have to follow this specific timeline. You get in a relationship at this age, you start a family at this age, you retire at this age. It doesn't have to be the case. And time is an illusion and all of that. But if you want to think of it logically, just know that like people like myself have got everything that I wanted and even faster than I planned to. So that is the house situation. And along with the house, I have bought a dog. His name is Norman and he's a Chihuahua. This isn't a rash decision. Like I made a little disclaimer, not that I need to, but I don't want people thinking, oh, you just got a dog because like you decided one day. Definitely not. I have always loved dogs. I had them growing up. But my mum is allergic to dogs, so we couldn't have as many dogs as we'd want because she would get rashes and asthma flare-ups. But I have wanted a dog for a long time, but I wanted to wait until I had a garden. And because the flat is really hot in summer and there's no outside space, I didn't think it was fair. There are people in my building that do have pets, but yeah, I just thought it would be better to wait. And he is currently 9 weeks old, but at the end of June, hopefully when I can collect him early July, he'll be about 12 weeks old. We went to visit him for the first time when he had his other siblings near him and his mum was there, and there were 6 pups in total. But I'm going to visit him again this weekend. The second time, I feel like the woman's going to get sick of me just keep popping in. But yeah, we're taking him from her eventually, so I just want to check in on him and I don't want to forget what he looks like. I'm just constantly looking at his pictures on my photo album. And I just can't wait to have a little companion, something to nurture and something to help me like slow down and be more present day to day and just get outside more. I will be in the garden, but just for walks, and I can get with the business very focused on that. So I want to have something else to focus on too in life. So if you work with me, you might see Norman popping up every now and again on client sessions until he's a little bit more independent. I'm going to train him well, so I hope he's not barking and causing chaos. But puppies are sometimes puppies. They need a little bit more love and attention in the early stage. So if he's on my lap during a client call, I hope you understand, but we'll see how that goes. So I feel like that's everything. I think so. Oh, I also went to Madeira. I did a specific episode on my first trip to Madeira because it was just quite a pivotal moment in my life, honestly. Like nothing extremely special happened, but I just feel like that was the trip that I knew I was healed. If you want to listen to it, I'll link to it in the show notes so you can see what I mean. But prior to that, I'd always have to take a ton of supplements or be more strict with my diet or not do too much in a day because I didn't have the energy. Whereas that trip, I did everything I wanted. I ate whatever I wanted. I had the best time. I met some great people, and it was just an all-round 10 out of 10 trip. So I went back in May with my boyfriend this time, and we still had an amazing experience, just as good. Did so many things, canyoning, we went on hikes, we did the famous toboggan in Funchal, and the weather was gorgeous, just felt so good. And yeah, that's my little update. I think I said that I'll give an update if needed, but I don't think it deserves a full episode because yeah, we did a lot of the same things as last time, and I would highly recommend Madeira if you haven't been. It's just an island outside of Portugal, and I will definitely be back for the third time. So, thank you for sticking around till the end. Feels like I'm chatting and catching up with a friend that I've not seen for a long time. If you do like these life updates, solo chatty episodes, please let me know and I'll be sure to record more. Don't forget, I'm Balanced is opening for enrollment 17th till the 23rd of July. You've got the group program later on in the year if you want a bit more of the emotional healing and mindset work, brain rewiring stuff, all of that. In the meantime, one-to-one slots are open too for the 6-month root cause relief package. But any questions, send me an email or send me a DM and I'll be back in your ears next week. Bye. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, as this helps to support the show and it allows it to reach more people with this valuable information. Come and say hi over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health. And if you haven't already, check out my website, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk, for tons more free resources and to discover how I could support you further. I currently offer one-on-one consultation packages if you want my top level support, then more affordable group programs and self-paced online courses. So there really is something for everyone. If you're ready to change and get some answers but aren't sure which option would be best, take that first step today and apply for a free enrollment call on my website, and we'll discuss the best steps for you to take in order to achieve hormonal harmony. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.